Live from Los Angeles here on this Sunday morning, you're watching Breaking Box Office. We get the numbers to you as soon as they come in, and we have a huge story again this weekend as theater owners are thrilled to see Five Nights at Freddy's set up shop with $78 million on the debut. That is a record for Blumhouse. It takes out Halloween 2018 by just a little bit. Let's hope it stays that high when the actuals come in, as we know the estimate on Sunday. But really, the story here is, look at this thing. $78 million with streaming attached. That means this was available the same day that it dropped in theaters on Peacock. Can you imagine how big this would be if it were theatrical exclusive? We would be well over 100 million. Added another 52.6 million overseas. That's 130.6 million worldwide for a film that was on streaming the same time it was available at home. Let's talk about what happened with this film. Let's break down all the details. It is the biggest horror opening of 2023 ahead of The Nun 2. As I mentioned, biggest Blumhouse now global opening ahead of Halloween. Beat that by a ton. Halloween was 92 million worldwide for a debut. This is 130.6. And so this will be the second biggest debut ever for a video game movie. What's number one? Super Mario Brothers. Nothing's going to top that. I don't know ever, right? I mean, Super Mario Brothers 2, technically, right? That would be the only film that has a chance of doing that. But again, can you imagine what this thing would have done if we would have been only theaters available, right? You could only see it in a movie theater. We're well over 100 million. Look at this, the audience here. The audience was 94% under the age of 35. In like 81% under the age of 25. So this tells you that if you give the millennials, the Gen Zs, all those young ones, you give them something they want to come see. This was obviously a very popular IP with that crowd, evidenced by what we're looking at right here, with that massive majority being under the age of 35. Males outnumbered females 58 to 42. And again, 80% under the age of 25. That's crazy. That is insanity. And again, not a surprise given what this film was. And I think it also speaks to, remember this, and we'll talk about it tonight on the Sunday Night Spectacular here on MMT. It speaks to a lot of folks wanted to see this with a crowd. They wanted to get out there, put the costumes on, Halloween weekend, and get wild with the FNAF crowd. It was one of those kind of films which benefited this one greatly. But we'll discuss in depth how much higher this could have gone if it were not available on streaming the same day. The other big story here this weekend, it's a massive story, is Killers of the Flower Moon is crashing. It's falling apart, down 61% in weekend number 2. Now, we mentioned last weekend off that $23 million stateside debut that we wanted to see this film hold at least 40-something%. That would show that people just waited. You know, obviously it's an older audience, so they're going to not rush out opening weekend. We wanted to see that number stay, you know, the drop in the 40s. Heck, 30s would have been good. I would even 50, but we're at 61 down. This is in big trouble. This is a $200 million film. And the reason that I am attacking the film, I love the film. You guys know that. Watch the reaction stream. Huge fan of Scorsese's latest. But it's a $200 million property. We have gigantic CBM films coming in at 200 million, such as The Flash. That was like 250 or more. But we attacked that film for bombing. So why are we not for Killers of the Flower Moon? You have to do it. We do not play favorites here. And at the end of the day, this is going to lose Apple money. Now, this is also a gateway for them to get into theatrical. We know that. They have Napoleon coming up. They partnered with Paramount here. They are partnering with Sony on Napoleon. But what this is not the best start for the studio as they try to set themselves up long term, and we'll see how it goes. Let's do this. Let's look at the top 10 films in the United States, and then tonight we might look at global, but obviously the number one story this morning continues to be the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's did hellaciously good numbers for a film that was available on streaming. Here it is, Five Nights at Freddy's at 78 million. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, down another 56%. That is now at nearly, let's just call it $150 million stateside for that film. Killers of the Flower Moon only at $40.7 million after it was down 61%. After Death, I don't even know what the hell that is. Is that a faith-based film? $5 million opening. That is in fourth. Fifth, Exorcist Believer, now at just $59.4 million. Paw Patrol is 6, and it's at $59 million total. Freelance, that movie with John Cena, that thing bombed hard. Can you see what that number was? $2 million. That is $1,000 per screen. Not good. Nightmare Before Christmas, right behind in 8th spot, making just bonus cash for Disney. Saw X is at $50 million now after, here's the thing. Let me say this. Studios really missed out this weekend. You've got Five Nights at Freddy's, granted, a horror film. Look, horror. We could have used another big horror film in the marketplace that was only in theaters. We could have used anything would have popped this weekend. I think that the other studios missed. They should have had something there. A24 Neon, someone should have put something here. I understand Five Nights at Freddy's would take a ton of audience, but there still is enough room in this marketplace to operate with another film. Halloween weekend, I think it's a missed opportunity. The creator is in 10th place, only $38 million stateside. It hasn't even crossed 100 million globally. That film is going to lose Disney hundreds of millions of dollars, as it is definitely not a success. We are back tonight for this Sunday night spectacular here on MMT. We'll discuss Five Nights at Freddy's. How much higher could it go? Also, my favorite Halloween films. Well, not Halloween, but you know what I mean. Horror Halloween films. That as we get ready to go on Tuesday with that. That's coming up tonight, 8:30 here in LA, 11:30 on the East Coast. Until then, peace out. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on MMT.